the station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Freedom Chat, where real Americans speak their minds. And no topic is off limits. No scripts, no judgment, just honest conversation, raw, unfiltered, and free. If you're ready to challenge the narrative and celebrate true freedom, you're in the right place. This is Freedom Chat.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good morning. How are you?
I am outstanding.
Sweet.
So far as just you and I, we're going to go ahead and get the ball rolling. Little bit of, I like to call it a groundwork or a housekeeping. My mom will not be on. She is a little under the weather.
I hope she feels better.
Yeah, she dealing with she vomiting and diarrhea and all kinds of goofy crap.
Oh, no.
Yeah, hey, you know what? This is a real show, and we talk about real stuff, and people get sick. That's just what it is, man.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
All right. Dennis he's on, and I put out some invitations. I will be honest with you. I don't know who's going to show up, who's not going to show up, but I'm going to stick to what we do, and we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. So why don't we get started now and talk about, let's, because we're going to have to talk about the last 24 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to talk about the last 24 hours. We are also, unfortunately, going to have to talk about the State of the Union, although we should be able to blow the Democrats out of the water with our take on the State of the Union. Full disclosure, did not watch it. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch the whole thing. Okay. I saw bits and pieces of it live, and then I saw a lot of it, reruns.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Well, I didn't, but I did watch excerpts of it, and I try real hard to not watch sound bites because sound bites can get real stupid real quick. Right. So we will talk about the State of the Union, and we will talk about what happened in the past 24 hours. So we are going to cover that, but I promised that we would talk about the SAVE Act.
Yes.
And here is what is coming from Congress.gov. This bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of United States citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill specifies what documents are considered acceptable proof of U.S. citizenship, such as identification that complies. Hey, we got another person. Come on, Natalie. Come on there. Nellie. Sorry, Nellie. I'll never get your name right. Just giving you fair warning. To vote, and the individual provides documentation proving that they are a citizen, requires states to establish an alternative process under which an applicant may submit other evidence to demonstrate United States citizenship. Each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only United States citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not United States citizens using information supplied by certain sources. Additionally, states must remove non-citizens from their official list of eligible voters. The bill allows for a private right of action against an election official who registers an applicant to vote in the federal election who fails to present documentary proof of United States citizenship. The bill establishes penalties for certain offenses, including registering an applicant who failed to present documentary proof of United States citizenship. All right, in a nutshell, you have to prove that you are a United States citizen to vote in United States elections. This is going to be one of those. I'm going to ask the two of you, yes or no. We should prove we're United States citizens to vote in our elections. I cannot hear you.
Nelly is muted.
I'm trying to unmute it. It won't let me unmute.
There,
Oh,
you almost had it. Try it again.
there we
There
go.
we
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we got
I
you.
have no problem with having an ID to vote and proving citizenship. I guess one can make a copy of their birth certificate, or
Right.
I'm not sure what they're needing for that.
Nelly, have you ever been married?
No.
Okay. My wife and I, well, this is my second marriage. She took my name. Have you ever seen a birth certificate have a change of the last name ever?
No. And you're
Right. So
several. There, you can get a passport. You can get all kinds of things, right?
that's correct. There are about 5 or 10 different documents that prove you're a United States citizen. The passport being the easiest one. A driver's license with your name on it, and a birth certificate and a marriage certificate. Those are 3 documents right there that prove you're a citizen. Dennis, would you say that that's fairly easy to obtain?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For anyone.
Do you know how to obtain one in Denver, Colorado?
I sure do.
A birth certificate. It costs about $10.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to get a duplicate one for my daughter so that she could go to South Africa.
Yeah. You know what? It's as easy as Googling how to get a birth certificate in
Scary,
Denver,
ain't it?
Colorado.
Scary, ain't it?
Yeah, it's scary. I know.
But-
it's real tough.
So apparently, and I mean, it could be me. I don't know. I might be wrong. But apparently, the Democrats think that. Nelly, do you feel like you're stupid?
You know, I've got a funny story for you guys. I was working at Walgreens, and I was working with 3 Black people, and they were talking about voter ID. And these were 3 Black women, and they even made the comment that young liberals think we're so stupid that we and a correct ID. She said, "How do they think we go out and buy booze?" And she specifically said, "Liberals."
Right. Isn't it
Right.
scary? I mean, have you heard the Democrats come out consistently on this? Dennis, have you heard the Democrats come out consistently and say this is going to basically take away a woman's right to vote?
Oh yeah.
Didn't Swalwell say? Wasn't
Oh,
Swalwell that said that?
Women and Black people, or anyone of color, I suppose.
Oh well,
To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure Helen Keller could probably register.
Figure it out.
so
Yeah.
let me see if I got this right.
Yeah, come
Um,
on now. I mean,
My
getting silly.
so Dennis, let me see if I got this right. Nelly, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to see if I'm right on this. Okay. My mother, who you guys have heard speak, pretty smart, but not smart enough to provide documented proof of citizenship. And is that what they're basically telling my mom?
Yeah, that's what they are. They're saying they're stupid.
My
Which
wife-
is interesting. Which is interesting because if they're that stupid, would you want them voting?
Well, we can go down that rabbit hole in a second.
That's a good point.
And I kind of want to go down that rabbit hole because it does it does play a role in this, right? Let me see. My wife, who has got a better education than me and somewhat not as well read in American history and whatnot as I am. I'm not floating my own boat. There's not many people who are as well read as I am in American history. There's a couple of historians that blow me out of the water, both of them who are women, so to speak. So, I mean, as a matter of fact, one whose name is Tabitha Ross, and then the other one is a woman named Diana Urbio, and they both make my knowledge of American history look pretty freaking minuscule. But apparently, it could be me again. I'm probably me. Apparently, according to the Democrat Party and all of the morons on that side, and yes, I'm going to be insulting today. I'm in an insulting mood today. The morons on that side seem to think that women are too stupid to be able to go and provide the documentation necessary for voter ID. That said, apparently Mexicans are smarter than Americans, because in order to vote in Mexican federal elections, you have to have a voter identification card. Apparently, Americans are dumber than the French, because the French also require legitimate voter identification. So, I mean, apparently the Democrat Party, in their infinite stupid wisdom, and I say that with both tongue in both cheeks, believes that the American people we're just stupid, which should disqualify, as Nelly just said. Wouldn't that disqualify you from being able to vote, or shouldn't it? Nelly, I'm gonna break something down to you. All right, I'm really, really sorry, but lack of intelligence does not disqualify you from voting. It also does not disqualify us from having congressmen and congresswomen that are still dumb as rocks or just blatant liars. So I hate to break it to you, but it ain't our lack of intelligence that's the problem.
Well, I think too, this is the other thing, is that at the end of the day, it's really not that they think people are stupid. It's simply that they want to be able to cheat and get the illegals in their voting. And I think this is not all that uncommon, and they're using it to manipulate people, manipulate votes.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that, because before you came on, of the things we're going to talk about is the State of the Union address. And I will be full disclosure, I did not watch it. I was sitting and relaxing with my wife, so I didn't watch it. Dennis watched it, or watched a good portion of it.
I watched most of it.
From what I understand, and you can confirm this, it was one of the most patriotic, pride in our country State of the Union that we've had in a very, very long time. The CNN poll actually supports that claim, that people who watched it were very, very upbeat about it.
I would urge anyone that didn't see it to go ahead and see it. And in fact, my brother was out in the oil rigs, and when he gets home, we're going to watch it together.
Very
I have
good.
never seen a State of Union address like this one.
Well, yeah,
It was great. It was great.
So there are two different reasons. Well, there's you can watch it on YouTube. If you have access to Fox Nation, they also have the State of the Union on Fox Nation. I've been on Fox Nation for the past 24 hours, give or take, watching Fox Nation Live, which has covered the past 24 hours. So we are going to talk about the State of the Union, and I'm gonna. This is what bothers me about the State of the Union. The State of the Union used to be an event that had decorum, where it was a time when all three branches of the government convene. In fact, it is the only time outside of an emergency convening of all three branches of government. And there used to be a level of decorum where you didn't shout down the president of the United States while he is addressing the nation, because he is addressing the nation. Now, I'm going to give full disclosure. Anybody who has seen this show knows that I don't sugarcoat. The first person to legitimately shout down a president was a Republican shouting down Barack Obama for Barack Obama not telling the truth. And this is where there's a divergence. The divergence is in the response, because when he did what he did, the entire United States Congress, they censored him. They they kicked him off of at least one committee, if not two. So there was repercussions for that. We've watched Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert shout down a president. They did it for two different State of the Unions, both of them with Joe Biden. And
like he would remember. I'm
well,
sure.
yeah, but see, we have to remember that because we're not going to be hypocrites. I'm not going to sit there and say this is only a Democrat thing.
Right.
What I will say is this: Republicans don't boycott. Republicans show up, and they might shout them down, and they got shouted down for what they did, but they showed up. They stood up when something was to be applauded, and they applauded. They acted in good decorum. They acted with good decorum. What we're seeing out of the Democrat Party right now is an out and outright, they don't like this country, and they hate this country. They refuse to stand for 2 Medal of Honor citations. One of them being a 100-year-old fighter pilot who fought in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He earned his medal for his combat action in Korea. The man the other man who earned the Medal of Honor is a Chinook pilot who participated in the Maduro raid, and he maintained station while taking on fire, and he took on 3 different rounds of enemy fire. And he stayed where he was. He ensured that the mission was complete.
Well, and this is the problem. It's one thing to have one person do a hoot and a holler over something, but they were even doing like what you're just talking about are people who did courageous things.
Right.
How can you?
It's just a refusal to acknowledge American greatness.
Yeah.
And I have said this a few times. I've quoted a couple of presidents. President Ulysses S. Grant once said there's 2 different types of Americans. There's patriots and traitors. And I will take it and not call them straight out traitors. But I will say this. There are 2 types of Americans. There are Americans who love this country. There are Americans who hate this country. My question to you as an American is, which one are you? I don't want to sugarcoat this. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the United States of America, or are you on the side of foreigners? That was the other thing that the president did that was, quite frankly, brilliant. When he made the statement that the first role of the United States government is to take care of American citizens, not foreign nationals, whether they're citizens or whether they're not.
Right.
Well, was he wrong? Is that not what the first responsibility is? I don't know. There's a document called the United States Constitution, which is pretty clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
Nellie, would you like to chime in on that one?
No, I agree. I think, it was interesting because when I watched it, he actually paused longer. He made sure. Now, this guy, he's smart as all get out. He made sure that everybody that was watching made that they weren't standing up for this.
Yeah,
That
he
they were
looked over.
basically that they were saying they were pro-illegal over Americans.
Right.
He did it. It was great.
Yeah.
He looked over to that side with a big old smirk on his face because he knew they weren't going to stand.
Yeah, he knew it. And that's, the thing is that what he's doing is he's basically making that side eat their own garbage. All right, it is time to go on to a quick break. And y'all should already be ready for this one. If you're not, too bad.
Those are cool tats, man.
Oh, for real. Thank you, bro. You see the Cobra?
And what is this one?
Oh, this? That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
Dad?
No? Like not even a single letter?
No way. Not me.
Well, I love him. I think he's great.
Okay.
I think he's a real winner, Casey. If I were you, I wouldn't use protection.
Not even a single letter. No way, not me.
Oh man, I hate saying this, but I love that one. All right, so we're going to talk about what happened the past 24 hours. And Dennis, I'm going to let you. I'm going to step off of the stage for a couple of seconds. Dennis, why don't you tell everybody what happened in the past 24 hours?
You mean on the world stage? Well, let's see. We had quite the event going on in the Middle East. Would you say that's an understatement, Nellie?
Yeah, that was a pretty big thing that happened. That was pretty amazing. Everything with Khomeini being did. You know, when they first said it, I was like, they confirmed it. Have they confirmed it? You know,
Right.
but
Me
it was
too.
him and 40 others, I guess. You know, so you know.
Yeah, they're saying it like I don't know. I've been hearing different numbers, 40 to 48, something like that. But yeah, it's and when they first said, Khomeini, I was kind of like, let's pull the reins back a little bit and let's wait till it's confirmed. But once they did, it was like, whoa boy, it was pretty kind of exciting. I mean, I don't I'm not a big fan of anybody getting killed, but I'll tell you what, if it's gonna happen to anybody, they couldn't be it couldn't be any better than those people.
With all due with all due respect, with Khomeini, he had an option to live. He just
Oh yeah,
he didn't. He took technically he took the hard way out, which in
yeah,
that respect I have respect for him, but for him it was worth.
right,
They teach their kids to die.
yeah,
And I'm talking about 4-year-olds. I'm not talking about adults. Uh,
right,
but I was happy. Now, when I first heard the news, I was like, because I had also heard he escaped to another country, and I thought, oh well, but later they said that he died, and I was pretty happy about that. I have no regrets
yeah.
about that. I'm not gonna,
Well,
as he said,
yeah,
America.
yeah, and we have to be happy about that because it's for the betterment of the Iranian people that have been enslaved by that regime for 47 years. And it's just these poor, especially the women, the women and children, they've had to cover themselves up. And if you see, I'm sure you've both seen video clips from pre 1979 Iran.
Oh yeah. Hey, what I miss? Oh, just kidding.
Women were allowed to be on the beach with bikinis on, and they were allowed to dance, and they were allowed to, there was just they had the Western freedoms.
Yeah.
And
Now,
for the life of me, I don't know why any society would let a regime like that come along and just take that away from them.
But that is the problem, is that they're coming in and they're doing it very quietly, and
Right.
it's a little bit like Al Alinsky. We're not going to have to we don't have to fight you because we're just going to come in and slowly take over, and
right
that's
now.
exactly what's happening in the UK.
So
Yeah.
full
And
disclosure.
right here too.
Well, for full disclosure, and I'm going to tell you guys something that my mom told me today when I did see her. All right, full disclosure. The Iranian regime that currently exists that is on its way out, and trust me when I tell you guys, they aren't doing themselves any favors by flame spraying the rest of the region. That's
Right.
that's not how you create allies. You
No.
you should make a call saying reject the American infidels, reject the great Satan. That's what Ayatollah Khomeini used to call us, is the great Satan, and then Israel was the smaller Satan. Do you guys realize? And nobody. So my mom was telling me that when Donald Trump made that announcement, that was the go-ahead order to commence the attacks. The attacks didn't start until he went onto that podium. And that is an indication. Nelly, you mentioned how smart he is. That's your indication of how smart he is.
Yeah.
He had been briefing, and look, and this is the other thing. We're gonna get into the other side of the coin, which is once again the lefties, and I call them that because that's really what they are, the haters of our country and the Trump derangement syndrome victims are all so completely, and I look, I don't like saying things like this. I really don't, because to me it's ridiculous to even have to say anything. But give me a break. All right. All of us, okay, we've got 28 watchers right now, and almost every single one of them are prior military or even current military. And every single one of them have been in an action that the president has ordered that didn't require Congress to give approval for. All right. It's called the War Powers Resolution in 73, right, Dennis? 73.
Yeah, I think 73, 74, or something like that.
So once again, here's what the left says, and we'll add Thomas Massey to the equation. You can't do that without congressional authority, congressional approval. Actually, Congressman Massey and the rest of that side of the fence, he actually can. What he's required to do by law is to provide you with a briefing within 48 hours after the action. And here's the rest of the story. He can continue his actions for a maximum of, I believe it's 60 days.
60.
If the actions extend past those 60 days, he then has to get congressional approval.
Correct.
For those of you watching this show who think I don't know what I'm talking about, do your own damn research, because I shouldn't have to tell you guys this. You guys are all prior military. You know this stuff. The sad part is people like Senator Kelly he hates this country, or he has got such a blind spot over his hatred for Donald Trump that he doesn't realize, unfortunately for him, Donald Trump does know what he's doing.
They should have cut off his oxygen when he was up in space. Sorry. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Well, the other thing is this. I was talking to, remember all these people that are protesting ICE, is that, and I was talking to a guy, and he was military, at one point in his life. And I was telling him, well, when they do this, they step on the street, that technically constitutes a riot, because they're not supposed to. You have to have approval to get on the street. You can be on the sidewalk all you want, but he didn't know that. And he told me I was wrong. And I said, no, I looked it up. He says, but they don't, he said that the federal government doesn't pay for city streets. And I said, that's not true. They actually allocate money to each state. And that state then allocates money all over the place, and they have to do it evenly, or percentage.
So here's that's a good point, because I'm sure that everybody here has seen the videos of the protests of no war on Iran going down the streets of New York City. Let's talk about irony. Isn't it ironic that in Iran they are celebrating the beginnings of the death of an evil regime that has been an evil regime since its inception 47 years ago? I served my country in the region where they have killed my brothers and sisters. Beirut, USS Cole. That's just to name a couple of them.
Right.
That's just to name two. They were probably, and look, I'm going to be bold as hell right now. They were probably as responsible for 9/11 as Osama bin Laden was.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody thinks that was simply just Al-Qaeda, they have got another thing coming. Iran has had their fingers on terrorism and at times both hands on terrorism and terrorist activities for 47 years. Let's not even talk about the 30,000 of their own citizens that they murdered on the streets
Right.
during the month of January.
Yep.
I had a person ask, why did this president decide to do this when other presidents didn't? And this was my response. I'm going to kind of give you a Reader's Digest. First of all, when you look at it, and one of the things that this president is really good at is the ability to read a room. Very rarely does he not be able to tell the temperature. I believe that this is based around three very specific events. The first event was when the United States helped Israel bomb the nuclear program. It wasn't the bombing of the nuclear program and the success that he was paying attention to. It was the world response. Did anybody come in outside of condemning it verbally, threaten any kind of response to what happened that for that event? The answer is no. Not a single one of them, because everybody in the entire world has secretly wanted this to happen. Every single nation in the world, outside of the ones under their direct proxy, has wanted to see that nation either get rid of those evil people or get wiped. So he knew that any other action he authorized was going to result with no response, nothing. So this response was a perfect example of, I can read the room, nothing's going to come of this. The second thing, and this is really important, when the Iranians were starting to get killed, when they were marching in the streets and they were getting mowed down by trucks and mounted machine guns, they didn't stop. It took almost 3 weeks for them to stop. At that point, Donald Trump knew that that nation was ready to remove those people from over them. That's what I firmly believe. He could read what was coming.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I'm assuming you guys heard about the shooting that happened down in Austin, Texas.
When?
Anything about that? I think just like, was it yesterday, last night?
Last night.
Yeah.
That was last night. Yeah.
It was an Islamist named. He was 53-year-old Diagni. I don't know. I think it's an African name of some sort. He's wearing I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He's wearing a hoodie that says "Property of Allah." As you know, it's a picture of a video.
Yep,
still.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
And yeah, so now they're like, everybody's freaking out, like, oh my God, all these sleeper cells are going to start waking up and stuff.
Although, I have to kind of, and I don't want to say death is funny, but of all places to do this, it was in Austin, Texas, which is about as liberal.
A blue city, yeah.
I'm like, hey, you're shooting the very people that are for you.
Right.
Right. And here's the scary part about all of that. I mean, we live in a very blue, unfortunately, and I'm not going to say blue state. We're not a blue state. We have a very extreme blue corridor that has binded this state with really bad policies, and we can go into even more of the policies that the Democrats are trying to cram down this state's throat, but we're not going to do that. We did that last weekend. I'm going to stay away from the state of Colorado. I will come back to my state because I believe that my state needs to be addressed. But that's because, if we are going to change this country, it has to be on a school board level. It has to be on a city council level. It has to be on a state level. If you think for 3 seconds that you're going to enact change on a federal level by itself, you are kidding yourself. That is not an exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. I'm sad. 3 people died and 14 people were hurt. Well, this is what happens when you don't properly vet individuals. I wonder if the guy is illegal. I don't know. I just read some headlines. I haven't had a chance to actually dig into it.
I don't know, man. It doesn't say.
Yeah. Well, let's see where that comes out when that comes out, right?
Yeah.
Where is Senegal?
What's
Say
that?
again?
Where is Senegal? Where is Senegal?
Senegal.
SEN
Uh,
SENEGAL? Because
Oh.
that's where he was born.
Senegal.
SENEGAL.
All right, so
That's where he was
Senegal
born.
is an
Africa.
African. It's an African country.
Yeah.
It is near the Gambia. It is a neighboring nation to Guinea.
Yeah.
The Guinea-Bissau.
So he's not a naturalized, or he's not a natural citizen of this country.
Well,
he was
yeah.
born in another country.
Yeah. So we know what he is, and look.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna tell you flat out, he's a black dude. He's a black person.
I don't. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I don't care about the color of his skin. He's from another country. He's been radicalized. Look, we got plenty of.
Yeah.
Look, if you watch the videos in New York, there's plenty of radicalized idiots that are white marching up and down the street, saying that they are wanting to keep Iran. Well, guess what? Iran started out as Persia. You morons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would venture that the people who really identify as being Persian were not Muslim. They were not Islamic.
No.
They didn't become Islamic until they were forced into becoming Islamic. Hey, did you know that
Persia and Israel were actually
very close?
Very close since the times of Cyrus.
Yeah. Hey, let's just talk about that for a second. Did you know that if you walk away from Islam, it's a death sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet.
What religious practice other than Islam says if you walk away, you're committing heresy and you need to be killed, stoned, most likely?
Right.
I be Christian. I've never heard of a Christian religion that says walking away from the religion, and I walked away from it a few years back. I've found my way back, but I was never threatened to be killed. It could be me. I don't know. I try really hard to be level-headed about this stuff, but come on, this is what their leadership does, and we'll go ahead and we'll go back to one of the statements that I walked in on. Dennis is right. When you look at now, let's go ahead and say this. Yes, they were much more Western and they were much more modern and they were much more in tune with that, but they were also under the Shah was no angel. Okay. The Shah's son wants this country to be a democratic country. He wants to have it under democratic principles. I would give the guidance to the people of Persia, because I'm not going to call them Iranian right now. Reference the United States Constitution, because it is the single best document and the single best guidance of how a country that is governed by the people should be run. There's nothing like our Constitution in the world.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's not a perfect document, all right? And it's not a perfect set of documents, but that's part of what makes it brilliant, is that it's not perfect and that there are provisions in place to improve it. And that isn't saying improving the Constitution itself. That's why the Bill of Rights exists, because that's why the amendments exist. The actual document, the actual beginning and end phases of this document is done so well, and it provided the ability. It made it really, really hard. It's very hard to amend the Constitution. Like, it requires a lot to amend the Constitution of the United States. But the reason it requires that is because the founders understood this basic, simple fact. If you can change anything on a whim, you will abuse the ability to change it on a whim.
Now, changing the Constitution, wasn't that like, I mean, you said it takes a lot. So
it requires
a lot to me sounds like it's got to be from all 50 states. We're all in this together kind of thing.
But Dennis, it requires 3/4 of the Senate and 3/4 of the House.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
If you really stop and take that under consideration, if you look at the SAVE Act, if John Thune had any stones, that's a metaphor for balls. Um, if he had the stones to force the Democrats to do an actual filibuster and force them, you've got 48 hours for all for all 48 of you to stand up and tell everybody why you don't think that we should have identification so that our elections are truly American elections, and then it'll be a majority vote. We could have the SAVE Act pushed through by Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
If John Thune had the stones, the president could be signing it Wednesday afternoon.
But is anybody going to give a mentally coherent reason for that?
That's the point.
Why we shouldn't have ID?
Dennis, that's the point. It would force them to stand up and explain and state their case.
Right. So
and that would be, look, and if you really look at that election wise, how important would that be? These people don't want our elections to be American elections. They basically are wanting to open the doors for anybody and everybody with a pulse and a minuscule amount of brain power to be able to vote in our federal elections.
Well, and again, this goes back to this. They're too stupid to even get two forms of IDs or, a license or whatever. This goes back to that, which then it goes back to, well, if they're that stupid, why
are we trusting them to drive a car?
Maybe
Nelly, can you drive? Are you capable?
Maybe they're talking about.
I don't know. Well, I could.
I drive school buses. Am I really that smart? I'm not sure.
Well, they're saying the Somalis, average IQ is around 68, 70.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it is.
So maybe they're referring to Somalis.
Well, look here. You and I have talked about this also. I think that IQ is more than just being smart. IQ is also based on information that you are receiving through education.
Mark, it was sarcasm.
I know it was, but I mean, just going there is, it also shows how they don't prioritize education. Other cultures don't prioritize it.
Even the dumb people I know could get a freaking ID, man. Come on.
Well, and even then, you still have to be able to apply. You have to be able to apply common sense. This is a big thing. If you don't have any common sense, you don't have to have a degree. But if you have common sense, that in and of itself is a big deal, because you would be able to say to yourself, wait a minute, I need an ID to go buy liquor, but I don't.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
So it's just
and sadly enough,
you're totally right. It's common sense.
Sadly enough, this is a reality. And this is, and I mean this with every ounce of my being. There are people out there who are believing these liars with their lies. I actually work with people who detest the president and believe wholeheartedly that this man, if he had his way, would round up homosexuals and would round up colored people and put them all in reservation camps. I'm like, who told you this? Where did you get this from? Oh, it's common knowledge. Well, apparently it's not, because I never heard that. In fact, one of the things that I heard about the speech the other night was that it was so universally American, and that it came across as truly an American speech, not a Black American, white American, Mexican American, Oriental American, pink and polka dot American. It was an American speech about American exceptionalism and about where America is going on its 24.
Right, and it also didn't come across as this is only a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. It was a people thing, not a political party thing.
Right, so, and God bless him for it. He's going to get attacked no matter what he does. That was the other thing that I mentioned when I responded to the individual when I mentioned to the individual that here are the reasons why he did it when others wouldn't. Was he read the room, he saw what was going on, he knew that the timing was right, and he was the only one who had the intestinal fortitude to stand up there and say, now is the time to bounce this regime. We're going to get into that about that regime after Feel Good, because we like to feel good.
What happened to you? Ruben, I'm in a situation here. We have to leave now. Well, no, can we stay a couple more minutes? But dude, no, this is serious. I just sharted. I don't know what that means. I tried to fart and a little shit came out. I just sharted. And let's go.
There's a car behind us.
God, I am so twisted. There is some, Dennis, I need to have my head checked.
Yeah, I think we both do. I think I'm right there with you.
I don't even care about the dog part of that video. It's just the first part that makes me laugh my butt off. All right. So let's do a quick news report. 4 hours. United States Central Command. An Iranian Jamaran class corvette was struck by United States forces during the start of Operation Epic Fury. The ship is currently sinking to the bottom of the Gulf of Oman at the Chabahar Pier. As the president said, members of Iran's armed forces, IRGC, and police must lay down their weapons, abandon ship. Let me go ahead and lay this one out. This is where my good friend Hal Van Herky was wrong. This is going to go on until the current Iranian regime stops, until they lay down their weapons, until they capitulate. And let's talk about that. Do you know that they have been a negotiating nation for 47 years, that regime has been a negotiating regime for 47 years? Do you want to know what their tactics? Nellie, do you want to know what their tactics are?
I do.
They negotiate, they stall, they ignore, they continue on their path. They negotiate, they stall, they keep doing what they're doing. Let's look at the nuclear program that they had. Obama gave them $1.6 billion. That was real intelligent. It was because they negotiated and they stalled. They promised that they weren't doing anything under the table while they were doing things under the table.
Oh, you're talking about the pallets of money?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Biden turned around and opened the spigot back up because they negotiated. Let's just call it what it is. They lied. While they were continuing to advance their programs, they lied.
No.
And they kept doing their programs.
Oh, and I think he knew. He was.
Who? Which one? Biden or Trump? Who? Biden or Trump?
No, Obama and all of them. They knew what was going on.
Every president. This is where
this is giving them money.
So this is where I get to be critical of a president of the United States. Ronald Reagan, arguably one of the better presidents that we ever had. He should have ended that garbage 47 years ago.
Yep.
He should have struck while they were still trying to figure out what the hell they were doing.
Yep. While the iron was hot.
Yep. He got the hostages back after 444 days, which Trump mentioned during his speech the other night. They should have, when he got those hostages back, he should have laid them out. He should have eliminated any ability for that country to become militarily strong, period.
Yeah.
So from him to H. Walker Bush, that would be H.W. Bush, to Clinton, to W, to Barack, Trump part one. I think Trump was just trying to feel himself out. That's why you have a different president today than you did back then.
That's correct.
But I'm being critical of Trump. Trump should have buried that regime. I don't think that Trump would have had the support that he has now. And I know damn good and well that he was reading the room differently at that point in time.
Mark, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. People are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine. but
I already do. No,
I will. See, I knew it. No, listen. When people start getting on their bandwagons, the Democrats, about Jimmy Carter, and he was a pretty good president. No, he was not.
is the
No, he didn't do anything productive for this country.
Nope.
At all.
He was the third worst third worst president in this nation history.
Okay, he was a nice guy, fine, but nice guys doesn't
and that's the
clearance to do
thing
a job.
about that is the thing about Carter, was that I honestly believe that he thought he was doing what was best. I don't think he was into the corruption and all this that
Agreed.
others are. I think he just was so liberal that it hurt the country.
Right. Yeah. But for him to just sit back and watch Iran get taken over like that, I mean, that's lack of cojones right there, in my opinion.
Well, and he betrayed the Shah in the same vein, because
Yes.
according to what I've read, they were supposedly really close.
Well, the Shah was ill. The Shah was ill.
He was ill, but what I'm saying is that whether he was ill or not, there was no reason for deposition for deposition, other than the fact that the Ayatollah came in and radicalized students. Gee, where have we heard that before?
Right.
And students that become radicalized and marginalized. Oh yeah, hey, our current college system is pretty much back-ass where it's like that. But this is the other reason that this attack happened is, he in his State of the Union, he mentioned Iran. He told the entire world that they only had a short period of time to legitimately come to the table and negotiate. Well, I don't know about y'all, but 47 years is a pretty legitimate amount of time to come to a negotiating table to become a more a better and more world citizenship. And look, I listened to the United Nations garbage yesterday, and the UN delegate from Iran stood there and basically spoke out of both sides of his mouth. Well, here's the newsflash for y'all. That's not abnormal. That's what they did. That's what they continue to do. And look, Israel called the UN delegate from Israel called him out. He called him out. He literally said, what does, and he used the Arabic language to death to America, death to Israel. He said, how often do you guys chant that? He said, no, don't wait for the translation. He did the same thing that one of our delegates did the Russians during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Don't wait for the translation. Answer the question. How often do you people chant death to America, death to Israel? You've been doing it for 47 years. Well, hell, if they keep saying it, maybe it's because it's an accurate fact that that's what they're trying to do.
They really mean it.
Right. Hey, you say it enough, maybe it's an accurate statement, right? I will take this one step further. In the case of this regime, if they had an opportunity for a nuclear weapon, there would have been no hesitation to strap that sucker to one of their missiles and send it straight over to Israel.
Mark, that was Danny Dannon that you were referring to in the UN.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I think these evildoers, if they think that they could get by with it, they'd attack us even.
Well, yeah. And look, they were absolutely. If Israel, if Iran had a ballistic missile that could reach the United States, they would have already launched it. They wouldn't have hesitated. And look, here's the other side of this that needs to be addressed. They're not just destabilizing the Middle East; they're destabilizing the world with acts of terror and acts of overt and aggression. Now, here's what's funny: they were, along with China, appointed human rights delegates in the United Nations. So let me see if I got this one right. Dennis, please help me out here. two countries that are infamous for human rights violations on their own citizens got to stand there and basically pass judgment on every other country in the world for human rights violations. Could it be that due to their own actions, they're subject matter experts?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
We're really good at this, so we know that's abusive.
That's a mind blower.
You
Right
arrest
there,
them
Mark.
harshly enough. No. You're supposed to hang them with piano wire.
Right. That's an Italian necktie, isn't it?
Here, let me show you. Move over. Let me show you how it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
No. We're trying to show you how to violate human rights here.
Like on Goodfellas. Maybe I should let him drive.
No. You wait later. You can write your name in it, right?
Right. Exactly.
Proof that yes, I can offend anybody at any given time if I want to.
What's easy to do these days, Mark? You know that. All we have to do is walk down the street sometimes. For God knows.
You know, I got to say this because this happened at work last year. I've got a shirt that says "Don't tread on me," and it's got a snake on the front of it. And I had a coworker who I'd had an issue with after the election had happened, and we're talking, 24. And later on, I'd said something that apparently I wasn't being empathetic, whatever the hell that means. And she had basically threatened to hit me, and I was like, "Go ahead, I don't care."
It was funny. Saturday, I went, after all this hoo-ha that's going on with Iran, I had to go to the grocery store the next day, and I had zero problem. I put on a Trump shirt and went down to the grocery store, and I'm in Houston, Texas.
Oh, good Lord. You're walking right into crazy town, right?
Oh, yeah. And I had no problem. I got a few dirty looks, but I guess it's the way I carry myself. I'm a small person, but it was like, don't mess with me.
Right. So I walked up to her one day and I basically told her, "I'm never going to be mean to you. I'll always be nice to you. I mean, I'm just, whether you like me or whether you don't." And she turned around and she said, "Well, I don't want to start a bunch of crap with you." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh boy, here we go. You're about to start some crap with me, ain't you?" And then she proceeded to tell me she didn't like the fact that I wore a political shirt. I'm like, "What shirt would that be?" Because honestly, I don't look at that shirt. I don't look at any of the clothes that I wear as political. I look at them as love of my country and love for my country. And that's why I wear them. They're patriotic shirts. Okay. And she says, "Well, it's that 'Don't Tread on Me' shirt." So I proceeded to tell her, "You know that when I buy those shirts, the money that goes from the purchase of those shirts goes to help at-risk veterans. Did you know that?" She goes, "Well, I just think that it's political." I says, "Did you also know that shirt is a representation of a flag that my great-grandfather, my blood, created, the Gadsden flag, the yellow 'Don't Tread on Me' flag. That's my great-grandfather, 7 generations gone." And it got contentious. But the mere fact that that shirt created an environment where I was living and am still living rent-free in her head just goes to show you how far down the rabbit hole these people and how unhinged these people really are. And they are.
Well, and the thing is that I don't even look at things necessarily political the way that you were talking. You should be able to wear a Trump shirt. Who cares? This is our freedom of speech and all this.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
actually, it's not, I don't call it political. I just call it that this is what
It's free speech.
What they gave us.
That's right. And look, I've always said this, and Nellie, you can kind of tell. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't look at the president of the United States in a adulation type manner. That's
he's not God.
I'm not, and I don't, because he's made his fair share of mistakes. The man sometimes is as bombastic as anybody I've ever seen in my life. He really is. And the thing about that is that it's okay to compliment him when he does something right, and it's okay to criticize him when he does something stupid. And
I agree.
the video of the Lion King parody that he did, as funny as it was, probably not the best decision to make for his staffer. If his staffer was in fact the one that dropped it, that would have been a fireable offense as far as I'm concerned. Because once again, if you're trying to draw people to you, that really isn't the way to do it.
I would say I would agree with you there.
And look,
But I also think that in politics, if you look back over our time, and you
Right,
look at
no,
political jokes, they're rude. There's nothing pretty about political jokes.
And Nellie,
Get over
you're 100% correct. The difference that this is that this was coming from his Truth Social account. So this was coming directly from the president's own account. And what I'm getting at is the political commentary and the political cartoons that we've seen in the past, they didn't come out of the president's own circle. They came from the media. They came from satirists. I mean, look, Mark Twain was a brilliant satirist and a brilliant writer, and he was extremely critical of government. And
I agree with you in the sense that when you're trying to get people to like you,
right,
don't put out anything remotely that's going to turn people off.
Right. That could create an environment where people are actually saying things. Look, do I think that it was intended to be racist? No, I do not. I think it was his way of poking at the Democratic Party, and he did a really good job of it. I think that it was meant to stay in house. I don't think it was ever meant to see the light of day. I think that they did it. He thought it was funny, and I think a staffer took that he thought it was funny as an okay to go ahead and publish it. And whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant. It's just, it is what it is.
Well, in that particular one, though, there were also other Black people portrayed in that thing, and they weren't portrayed as apes. So
right.
Not all. So it really wasn't. When people say, "Well, they were portraying Black people as apes," not all of them, and therefore
absolutely
it doesn't make sense.
And look, I'm going to be very, very blunt. I watched the whole damn thing. The funniest part wasn't even the Obamas. The funniest part was Harris as a turtle.
Yeah. No, wasn't Schiff a giraffe?
Schiff is a giraffe.
Yeah, that was. Oh
God. And that other Black guy, what's his name? He was
Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Yeah, Jeffries. That was hysterical. I think people did make more out of it than what it was. We've only got so many animals in there, and technically, the reason to use the apes and the monkeys is that they're, in a lot of ways, they're the, other than the lion, they're kind of, everybody looks at them as though they're the leaders of the clan, so to speak.
Right.
So
Biden was an orangutan. I was like, oh my God.
And whoever claimed racism on that was actually the racist.
Biden,
I think
should have been a three-toed sloth.
I do. It was just one of those things that I feel that I wouldn't have used it only because I could see the Democrats trying to turn it around.
Which is exactly what they tried to do.
Like,
and look, I'll tell you something. On X, it didn't even register. It only registered for those who were fed the quote unquote offensive part of it. My wife being one of them. That was racist. And I was like, oh God, I can't have this conversation with you. I won't even have this conversation with you. So we have gone 3 minutes over.
Can I say a couple things?
Yeah.
All right. First of all, I'm going to be a huge advocate for Iran to revert back to the name Persia.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah. They are now, as far as I'm concerned, they're Persia. Go ahead, Dennis. Keep
going.
They
are Persia. Last but not least, I want to say to all these demonstrators that hate America, the Democrats, liberals, lefties, whatever you want to call them, once again, the door is open to leave. So please, by all means, help yourself. I'll even come over and help you pack. I might even make you a sandwich. I don't know, but please get the fuck out of the country.
I'm gonna give Nellie the floor for a second, and then I'm going to close out. Nellie,
Well,
go
I'm
ahead.
just happy that everything right now. I like seeing what Trump is doing. I don't think it's always going to be correct,
Nope.
but compared to all the other people including Reagan, he's really doing a pretty good job. And I think
Yep.
he's trying to do the best he really for the people, as opposed to, I'm going to get voted in again. I think he just does things, and we don't have to like it. And he
Nope.
knows that we don't have to like it, and that's good.
Right.
So here's my take. For those of you who are protesting what's going on, and you're protesting America, and you're doing this and you're doing that, remember, you are a citizen. You can always come back to the light. You're welcome back to the light at any time. You will be welcomed with open arms by this bald-headed 57-year-old white dude.
True.
That's the first thing. The second thing is you can't come back to the light unless you're willing to swallow your pride and realize that you've been deceived, and you have been deceived.
And a lot of people are starting to do that, Mark.
It is coming around.
Yeah.
Hey, my favorite thing to tell people is I'm a lesbian that voted for Trump. We're
Hey,
changing.
you're a lesbian? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I had no idea you were a lesbian.
Well, that's got to have their jaws dropping right there when you tell them that.
Well, Nellie, I will tell you, you're not the only lesbian that voted for Trump. I follow a couple of them that are really, really good at communicating those things. The third thing that I will say, this president is just like every president since the very first president, in that he will make mistakes. However, he is the first president that I have seen since the first president who really is more interested in the advancement of the American dream and the United States of America that I have seen since the first president. And look, there's been a lot of really good presidents in between. I mean, the 16th, which would be Abraham Lincoln, was very good and was really wanting America to be advanced. That said, he's going to make mistakes. They all do. The other thing that I would say is he ain't making any mistakes based around malicious intent, and that has to be looked at and it has to be acknowledged as well. That's my take.
Mark, I love that too, because I love the fact that Trump, yes, I agree, he's not perfect. He's going to make mistakes.
Wait, Trump's
but
not
I do love, huh? Oh, yeah.
Wait, Trump's not perfect?
No. But I do love the fact, like you said, that he wants to be involved in everything, and I don't see that as being nosy. I see that as being adventurous and risk taking, and wanting to for the fact of success.
Yep.
And I think he wants to. We're going to go back to the moon. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to, that's all coming up sooner than later. So
Agreed.
I want to see that, and I'm excited to see him excited about it.
Agreed. All right, guys. God bless the United States of America. God bless all of you who came on.
Thanks, Nellie.
If you want to jump on,
Glad I made it.
Go to the Freedom Chat Facebook page. Send me a message on there. I promise I'll respond to it if I see it. You can also go to look up Mark Stallings on Facebook. You can always send me a private message there. And look, I'm a lot like a guy named Jesse Kelly that I like to follow. You can send me hate mail and I won't even sniff at you. I'll probably laugh at it because I know where it's coming from. You can send love mail. I'll probably get you from the same perspective. I don't care about people's feelings. I care about my country. I believe that success helps people feel good. I believe that people's success really helps them feel good. And I'm only interested in American success and how it relates to our nation and then the world by extension. So it's time to jump off. God bless America. God bless you all. See you next week. I have no idea what we're talking about. I'll figure something out.
Godspeed,
Thank you.
everybody. Thanks, Nell.
Life is like a duck. Tough Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature Broadcast Beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Thanks for watching and listening to Military Broadcast Radio on Roku TV. If you missed today's episode, the podcast will be available on
and all major platforms shortly after we go off the air. We're here for you, not for us, giving veterans a voice. This is Military Broadcast Radio.